Anna lived in a tiny rented room on the edge of the city, where the walls were thin and the rent was always due on the 1st. Her days followed a quiet rhythm. Wake before dawn, brew strong tea, walk to the small accounting office, and return home exhausted but at peace. She had few friends, not because she disliked people, but because she believed kindness should be given freely, without expectation. She trusted easily, too easily. If I'm good to the world, she often told herself, the world will be good to me. Then Ryan joined the team. He arrived on a humid Monday with an easy confidence that turned heads, tall, quick to laugh, with warm eyes that seemed to really see you. On his second day, he asked Anna for help with a spreadsheet. She explained it patiently. When she finished, he leaned back and said softly, "You have a way of making complicated things feel simple. That's rare." Anna felt a small spark of warmth she hadn't felt in years. Their conversations grew naturally. During lunch breaks, they shared stories about their families, their dreams, their quiet disappointments. Ryan remembered everything, how she took her tea, no sugar, extra ginger, the way she rubbed her temples when a migraine was coming, even the name of the stray cat she fed near her building. One rainy afternoon, he brought her a small thermos. "I noticed you skipped tea yesterday. Couldn't let that happen." Anna smiled despite herself. For the first time in a long while, someone made her feel noticed. Weeks passed. The bond deepened. Ryan started walking her to the bus stop some evenings. He listened when she spoke about her lonely childhood, about her fear of ending up like her mother, always giving, always left with nothing. Then, one Thursday evening, Ryan's face changed. The smile faded. He looked smaller somehow. "Anna, I'm in real trouble," he said, voice barely above a whisper. He told her his younger sister needed urgent surgery. The family had no savings left after their father's long illness. Medical bills were piling up. He showed her a blurry photo on his phone, a little girl in a hospital bed. "I hate asking. I swear I'll pay you back the moment I get my bonus. I can't lose her." Anna's heart twisted. She thought of her own mother, who had died waiting for treatment they couldn't afford. Without hesitation, she transferred 20,000 rupees from her savings, money she had been setting aside for her own emergency fund and a possible deposit on a better room. Ryan's eyes filled with tears. He held her hands. "You're the kindest person I've ever met. I don't deserve this." 2 weeks later, he asked again. This time the amount was larger. His sister needed follow-up care. He looked exhausted, ashamed. Anna hesitated for the first time. She had rent due in 10 days. But Ryan's voice cracked when he spoke about the little girl's pain. She gave him 15,000 more. Deep down, a tiny voice whispered, "Something feels off." He never let her visit the hospital. He changed the subject whenever she asked for more details, but Anna pushed the doubt away. "He's been so good to me," she thought. "People who care don't lie about something like this." The third time, she was already short on money. Ryan noticed her worry and gently said, "If it's too much, forget it. I'll figure something out." That hesitation from him made her feel guilty. She borrowed from a colleague and gave him another 10,000. Then he vanished. 3 days without a word. His phone went straight to voicemail. His social media profiles, gone. When Anna finally asked her manager, the man frowned. "Ryan? The temporary contractor? He completed his project and left 2 weeks ago. We don't keep records on short-term hires." The floor seemed to tilt beneath Anna. She rushed home, hands trembling as she opened her bank app. The savings she had guarded for years, almost wiped out. Enough to cover 3 months of rent, her mother's old medical debts she was still clearing, and the safety net she had promised herself she would never touch again. That night, Anna sat on the cold floor of her room, staring at the wall. The thermos he had given her lay on the table like a mocking gift. She replayed every conversation, every smile, every "I remember" moment. Had any of it been real? The pain wasn't just the money, it was the violation. She had let him into the softest parts of her heart, the places that still believed in goodness. He had taken her trust, folded it neatly, and walked away with it. Tears came in waves. She cried until her throat burned. She felt stupid, ashamed, furious at herself for ignoring the small warnings her gut had tried to send. For days, she barely ate. She avoided mirrors because she couldn't stand the trusting eyes looking back at her. At work, she spoke only when necessary. The world felt sharper, colder. But slowly, something shifted. One quiet evening, Anna opened an old notebook and began writing down everything that had happened. Not to dwell, but to understand. She listed the red flags she had dismissed. She wrote the promises she had made to herself years ago. Protect your peace. Question kindness that asks for too much too soon. She didn't become hard. She didn't stop being kind. She became wise. She started setting small boundaries at work. She learned to pause before offering help. She asked gentle questions when something felt too perfect. And most importantly, she began saving again. Not just money, but pieces of herself. Months later, a new junior joined the team. A young man who smiled easily and asked for small favors. Anna was polite, helpful with work, but she kept her personal life closed. When he tried to linger during lunch, she smiled softly and said, "I prefer eating alone these days. Thank you, though." Her colleague noticed the change one afternoon. "You seem steadier, stronger." Anna looked out the window at the city lights beginning to glow. "I paid a heavy price for it," she said quietly. "But I finally learned a smile can be the most beautiful lie. Real care doesn't disappear when you stop being useful." She still believed in kindness. She just no longer offered it blindly. And that, Anna realized, was not the end of her softness. It was the beginning of her strength. This is the story of Anna, who discovered that protecting your heart is not the same as closing it.